Alright, and we are doing the Hacker Dojo Lightning Talk. Starting right now live.
Alright, so first speaker is Michael Chung with Waveform Analytics. And,
hello. So I'd like to talk about a project that came out of Hacker Dojo a couple months ago. This project was started by Jonathan Bell and I, and Mike Bowles is helping us with the data analytics and machine learning. And this project is still in development, and we're working out the ideas. But basically, Jonathan had a passion for the mental health treatment, and he wanted to come up with an app to improve mental health treatment, mental health monitoring, and all those things. So we were working on it, and we came up with an idea where we wanted to kind of like take the power of social network to add it to mental health treatment, and also maybe like physical health treatment and things like that. So the concept is for like the patient's doctor to use the app, and for the patient to get a group of his trusted social network or his friends and family to rate the patient when he is out of the clinic and in everyday life. So this is a screenshot of one of our use cases. So where we have, let's say, a bipolar patient, and that's the first screen, and her attributes of depression, mood, and agitation. So her friends and family, on occasion or as prompted by the app, can go into the app and rate her. And that data will be basically collected. We're looking for teammates. We're looking for researchers who might want to take this on, and psychiatrists who might want to join the team and then help work this out. So the basic idea is that this is another set of data for the doctor. It's using the regular social crowd and the power of the community to get additional data on the patient. So some of the use cases are mental health patients and, let's say, at-risk people, maybe people like people with Alzheimer's or senior citizens who are at home by themselves. Maybe their concerned neighbors can just have the app, and instead of maybe just communicating or talking to the patient, they can enter the data into the app, and that data will be collected. So the current problem is that generally the treatments are done in the clinic. Is you're taking the opinions of the doctors and professionals only. It's controlled settings, and they have limited views or looks at the subject, and the cost is high. So basically, the benefits are that friends and family are asked to participate. It's in the daily normal environment, and you have like unlimited looks at the subject and patient, and the cost is very low. So the one form is we'll have the patient or the subject rate themselves, and we'll get some type of baseline. There's some self-monitoring data, and on top of that, we can add the social networks data. So, and also the doctors, they will have their own data to add to that. So, and this is an example of the doctor's dashboard. They basically have a summary dashboard, and they'll be able to just get another set of data. So basically, this is early stage, and we're just working through the ideas, and we're looking to get teammates and help and so on. Thank you. HIPAA compliance. The data is doctors, I guess we can look into that a little more, but the data, the doctors, could be an objective set of data, right? So if the doctors can use it for, what they wanted to use, the HIPAA compliance really regulates how the data is treated, not the use of the data. So the app itself will be HIPAA compliant. How the data is used, maybe the doctors like it or don't like it. We don't know that yet. So, anyway, any other comments or? Yep.
So who's the user of this app? Is this something that the doctor would suggest to the patient and they can choose to use it? Is it?
Yeah, we're not sure yet. So we don't know how if the doctors will love this or if they find this to be, a bothersome tool, So it's an idea that we're just exploring right now. So the idea is you have the patient or the subjects, friends and family, can give their opinion and observation, and those data might be useful.
I think it could be useful, but it's important to look at it from the patient's perspective. I think health issues, and especially mental health issues in general, are kind of something you don't really talk about much, or people don't enjoy talking about. So
Yeah.
You need to get people comfortable with the idea of having other people, first of all, sharing with them that I have this problem, this mental health problem. And
Okay.
I would also like you to rate me on how well I'm doing, which I think would be really hard.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's good. But so if we just work on the idea of the social network thing, maybe it could be applied to Alzheimer's diseases or even senior citizens. So that's just the idea. We're kind of exploring that, but those are good points. Yeah.
Well, maybe there's an opportunity here to involve the person with mental or emotional issues in terms of expanding their social network, even without revealing what issues they might have, from outside. I mean, if they want to open up issues of their own and get some feedback or some community kind of buy-in, I think that would be a really positive thing, particularly if they feel kind of isolated or alienated, which is fairly typical of some of the kind of feelings that people have. My brother, younger brother, was schizophrenic for years and years, and you had to kind of rein him in. I mean, he would go bouncing all over the place, but whatever contact you shared with them was always a positive thing for him. But you didn't criticize, you didn't judge, you didn't, do those kinds of things that potentially, could be criticism, which they don't really feel too good about. That would be something positive to them as well. So just the opportunity of being part of the social network, I think, would make a person in that situation considerably more connected and probably feel considerably better than the isolation they might feel otherwise.
Okay. Yeah, great. Thank you very much.
I've got another point that maybe it could be like a thing for a family. Like if you've got somebody with mental illness in the home and you're not sure when you should call help, there could be something to give them some feedback, by rating the person and their actions to see when you should get in, maybe external help.
Right. So I guess in general, this is like opening up another channel of either interaction or collecting data. So that's how I guess we can start with this, and from there, how it can be used is up to the healthcare professionals, and things like that. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. By the way, Michael's been helping a number of different startups here in the dojo on the business plan and spreadsheet financials side. So I'd like to encourage people to take advantage of his assistance if they need it. Okay, our next speaker is Christina, and she's going to be talking about socially conscious travel. She is from New Zealand.
Okay, I just got a disclaimer here. I walked in and I wasn't sure what I was up for. I didn't realise I should have a PowerPoint, so I don't. So I'm all about socially conscious travel. I've lived in Southeast Asia for 14 years, and I understand that small non-profits have a trouble getting support from people because people don't know about them. So say for example you're like going on a trip somewhere like Vietnam or a developing country, this would actually help you to maybe help a social enterprise while you're there. It could be like some funding, or it could be helping them. Maybe they need a hand with some app they're creating, or they need mentoring. So there's lots of ways that you could help from here or while you're travelling. Another thing that you'll be able to do with it is that when you're there, you could actually go and eat pizza at a place that trains street kids, or drink coffee from a place that helps Hill Tribe women, or have a good CSR. You can also choose your travel tour company by ones that actually support local communities and don't disrupt the local culture. So it's basically respecting different cultures and making your travel much more socially conscious. But you can also use it while you're here to help them from a distance. I'm trying to shift the way that we do our giving from just, oh my goodness, look at that terrible thing on TV, it looks so dreadful, I feel so sad, to, wow, I've got this skill or this ability, I would be able to help that social enterprise if I knew how, or non-profit, if I knew where they were. So I'm just here because I've been to a social innovation conference, and I'm just like exploring if there's any. I'm very much a seeds start of this idea. I do have a business plan, business canvas, sorry. But yeah, so I'm just here sort of exploring what's happening in America. I'm just here for 2 weeks. And I'm just looking for people who care about social innovation and, believe in our amazing world we live in. Thank you. Any questions? Hi.
What's the name of your...
It's called G-Gooder.
G-Gooder?
Yeah, so like globally good, but you're gooder. The globe's getting gooder from doing it. Yeah. Any other questions?
How do you spell that?
G and then G-G-O-O-O-D-E-R. If you're really bad at spelling, you can spell it. I do have a card, so please have a look. At the moment, the site's really embarrassing because it doesn't have much content. I've been trying to work out how to do this without being a tech, which is really quite difficult. I've tried a few different templates, and it just doesn't look right. So if anyone's interested in knowing more about it, do come and see me. Any more questions? Yeah.
So the primary means of you spreading out this information is on your website. Are you doing an app or any other way?
Well, the big goal was actually to have a big dream is to actually have a platform. So all of these social network platforms, so all of these small NGOs or, non-profits can actually have a face on the internet. At the moment, they might have a blog or something, but they just get lost in the noise of the internet. So it's sort of like LinkedIn for social or non-profits. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to take a moment to explain my goal with these lightning talks is to really promote discussion and dialogue and encourage people early on in the startup development process to get feedback and collaboration. We have an enormous number of experts in a wide, diverse field that pass through the doors here at the Hacker Dojo. We've got a happy hour on Friday with a little pizza and beer, we have, I'd like to thank Zume. Zume is the proper pronunciation, a robotically made pizza, and we were the beta test site for these guys. And they've delivered an enormous number of pizza last night and over the past couple of weeks. And actually, this is the first pizza that doesn't actually give me an upset stomach. Unlike many of the other brands we tend to have around here. But the goal here is to really encourage and foster a lot of early discussion before you commit a lot of resources down a path that you then find out isn't going to work, or you need to make a course correction after you've expended tremendous resources. So our next guy up is Adam Glickman, who's a brilliant and most connected gentleman here in the Valley, and he's going to talk about ITSE, which is a microsatellite startup that he just named.
Thanks, John.
Hello, my name is Adam Glickman. I call myself a technologist because I get curious about a lot of different technologies in engineering. This concept of a really small satellite is timely right now. I don't know if you guys have heard about this breakout initiative of like putting out a 3-gram piece of something out to another solar system. Well, this may not be quite so ambitious, but I think this is a step in that direction. You may not get to this point immediately of sending something out to another solar system, but this ITSE-sat is what I'm calling it, well, today for this exact moment. But I think other people have called it picosat. There's nanos. Well, yeah, nanosat's a little bit bigger in general, but it's a nanosat concept. This one we intend to use true nanotechnology for. Previously, people have used circuit boards and IC chips. We're looking at the capability now of actually growing things on the satellite substrate, and then further probably have different sails or different ways of launching it out. It's parallel with something I committed to at Foothill College of a special project for the nanotechnology program I'm enrolled in, to look at what does it take to do a satellite like this, make a mock-up, discuss like key circuits, educate people. And a couple weeks ago, we presented at a NASA Space Apps. So a lot of times people will write applications, but this was actually a hardware pitch of a small satellite. And we were proposing to have both educational kits as well as true protocol stuff that would go up in the air, that would carry seeds and life forms out into space, which interests a lot of people. I think there's a real wish for us to look at what does life do out in space. So this resonates fairly well. Having such a small format forces you to go nanotechnology. It forces you to look at things different than previous satellites. Right now there's a whole bunch of cubesats, which is great, but then you get economies of scale twice over if you look at how you could put these ITSE-sats into cubesats. So you could fit maybe 10 to 30 of these in a cubesat. So suddenly your numbers go up dramatically. If anyone's interested in exploring this ITSE-sat, it's a very open project. There's no real structure to this at this point, but it's obvious looking at how the CubeSat was progressed, some of the steps are going to be necessary. I welcome others to contact me and see what we could do. I could be reached email and through various contacts. And slightly well connected around here, as John said. Thank you guys.
So Adam's the last speaker that we have this evening.
Yeah.
Oh, questions, yes.
There's a lot that's pretty self-explanatory.
I guess, the question.
Do you plan to physically put lots of ITSE-sats into a CubeSat, or is that just like an example?
Here's how I like answering those types of questions. What should we do? and kind of take it back around like, okay, everyone's going to have a different vision of this. And I think that's a very valid direction for the visions, like how are these going to fit together? Other ones are like single launch off of a laser. Other ones are like, okay, here's biological kits for K through 12 kids. And maybe it's kind of like when you got the SR-71 before you actually saw the bird or was able to tour it, or even better, like the F-111 or the F-117 or the B-2 bomber. They had kits out, plastic kits. And I see this as kind of parallel where you could actually have a format and very similar composition of this small sat that would be going to space, but you could actually have it in your biology class and be like growing seeds out of it. And wouldn't that be cool if you were a kid, say in 7th grade? But yeah, to your point, it's very important to understand how these would stack together and the reliability of deployment. There was a previous satellite group called CubeSat, this is somewhat of that same form factor. It went up, I think, with 30 or at least 15 of them, and it was supposed to rotate and deploy by rotating, and they didn't deploy. And so it came back with all 30, or I think, of these little chips still embedded in the main mothership or carrier. So this whole reliable deployment makes some sense. And then you might want to stage your deployment, because if you're going at 1/5 the speed of light, which is what this break shot initiative is supposed to do, then you're going to want to scatter a few of these as you go along. Maybe even forming clusters of, say, 4 that are already moving that fast, that then gather further light and laser blast you further out. So you might create stages as you go up of light wave, photonic wave, boosting you further or faster. 1/5 the speed of light is pretty extreme. I don't know where or why they came up with that speed, but it gets us to Alpha Centauri, if that's where we go, in 20 years. It's 5 light years away, and that's our closest solar system, so okay, let's pick that one. There's probably more interesting places to go. I don't know if that answers your question.
Are you concerned at all about, what the results are going to be from planting an avocado on, a planet?
Very much so. So we need to plan, it's called planetary protection. And so you've read...
I know who's in charge of that, actually.
The Andromeda strain. That's the bestseller, right, about what it does to our planet. But we have to be really concerned about what it does to others, and also how we're messing up the results before we get there. So if we crash land, well, what bacteria did we just introduce that we then assume this planet has, because our diggers are finding that same material miraculously on this planet that previously didn't have it. And what I envisioned at the hackathon two weeks ago was some places you're going to want to put and just try. So maybe it's an asteroid that is deemed acceptable to populate. And so you do allow population. Other ones you might have biospheres of various types that are enclosed. And then others you're just fully enclosed in this 1 inch square disk, or whatever form it is. I think all of these are valid. We're not going to know until we try it. I think this is where we're at. And I think there's a lot of leverage we could do from the biology from K through 12, the STEM programs. Because you could model a machine-learned artificial intelligence system to say, oh, well, these are the variations we've seen on Earth. How does that compare with what we see in space? I'm open to these ideas. These are really good questions early on. I don't have the answers. I don't know anyone who would have the answers, even if they're experts in this field. I like fields where it's too new. It's more fun that way.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Like I said, Adam is the last speaker we have. If anyone has any announcements they'd like to make, please come now. And I can talk a little bit about some of the stuff I've been kind of doing. I've been working with a robotics educational kit company, basically, Roboterra, which is based out of Beijing and New York. And they've basically been bringing back an erector set style kit of little pieces and screws. Believe it or not, it's amazing how many kids do not know how to operate a screwdriver or an Allen wrench and do not even understand the concept of how screws work. They're so detached from mechanical things these days. So they've done a very good job of this, and they've come up with a modified Arduino board that simplifies the connections so we can very easily attach servos and buttons and other sensors. And a very nice integrated development environment that has a nice built-in tutorial and an event-driven interface. So we just filmed a Indiegogo video, which hopefully will be coming out shortly, and I will share on my Facebook as well. All right, any announcements from anybody? All right, so what is your name?
Tristan.
Tristan, so we have Tristan.
So I got to Silicon Valley about 5.5 months ago, and I slept in my car for about 2.5 months while I was trying to do a startup that I had an idea for. And I pretty much got my S*** pushed in for a while now. And it's actually been for about 3 years and about $30,000 in debt. So when Mark, I forgot his name, says don't start a company on a loan, it's probably a good idea. Anyways, what I'm here to announce is that I'm looking to make some kind of progress in the world with longevity, preferably nutrition and human behavior. So in the end, the vision is that health is automated and that we're living as long as possible by eliminating the leading causes of death instead of things like trying to upload our brains to computers, which is cool. It's just not my thing. So if anybody knows of some good resources to start talking to, my 3 key strengths are innovation, leadership, and persistence or tenacity. And that's just by the 20 top good business people that I know that have told me, that I've asked. So if anybody knows any resources to reach out to, or any good markets to just start asking about this stuff, and figure out what they need, what they want, please let me know. Thanks.
How do we contact you? Website or email? This is actually going to be online, the video, so.
Oh, great. So my name is Tristian Newman, and I'm pretty sure if you Facebook it, you'll find it, or if you YouTube it, you might find some of my old stuff. It's really embarrassing, but it's funny. Tristian B Newman at yahoo.com. That's just my personal email.
Can you spell that out?
Yeah, spell it.
Thank you. Tristan B Newman at yahoo.com.
Yeah, that'd be probably good.
See you later.
Thank you, Tristan. Anyone else would like to come up? Otherwise, I am going to close the meeting. And thank you all for attending and everyone that's going to be watching this online. We're going to be moving to a new address here shortly, which I do not recall off the top of my head, but if you go to events.hackerdojo.com, you can see the events we have here on a regular basis. Hopefully we'll start streaming more of these. And when we get to the new location, check our website for the address. Thank you.
Awesome job. You got the heavy iron gear, huh?